Shalom and good day, everyone. Coming back to give you an update that needed to be done because as we was looking at the Most High calendar, I realized I made uh, some counting errors in some recent years, where in some years that has passed. I believe it was 2018 and 2019. I had to go back and look at that. And you know what? I want to thank the Father for letting me see that calculation error. It didn't really make any major changes. However, we want to be aligned in what the heavens of Yah say. We don't want to have any mathematical error. And you'll see why as I give you the update. So the title of this video is, let me go to it. Let's see here. Calendar updates, Sundown Rule, and second Enoch, Lunar Epact. Okay. Um, as we've been studying the Most High calendar, one of the things that He has been teaching us, I'm talking about our Father in heaven, who sent His Son upon the earth to make a covenant with us so we can be redeemed back to Him. And also, we want to give our respects to the Holy Spirit, who's known as the Spirit of Wisdom. Yes, we do have a Father and we do have a Mother in heaven. This is where the idea or the concept comes from when He made them, Adam and Eve. Go back and read Genesis, y'all. It's a lot of mysteries in Torah because then you begin to see the Father mindset and then you begin to understand why the Messiah, Yahusha The Messiah, said this unto us. He said that wisdom shall be justified by her children. You can find that in the book of Luke and I believe also in the book of Matthew. So there's mysteries that He's speaking unto us. So just as we have a divine family in heaven, so it's done in the earth. Remember, what's done in heaven is also done in the earth. These two realms are linked together. You have the spiritual connected with the physical or the carnal things. Okay. So as we're looking at these updates, there's a rule that the Father wants us to pay attention to as we're doing the calendars because we've been taught the ways of the heathens and they do not follow the ways of the Most High. They follow the ways of Satan and those angels that is over them. Okay? It's a big difference as you begin to walk with the Father. And what the Father been teaching us about the prophets, that when you have a question, He has given the answer to His prophets because the Father only revealed His mysteries and His secrets to His prophets when they are His friend. They are His mouthpiece. And this is why it's so important to go back and read the prophets' writings as well as listen to the prophets of Yah today because the prophets of Yah today is going to align with the ancient prophets. Okay? Remember, there's nothing new beneath the sun. Father don't change His ways. Just like my ancestors had ignored the prophets, the same thing is happening today. They are ignoring the ancient prophet writings and they are ignoring the prophets of today. We see that happening now. So we're going to apply the Sundial Rule because there was a particular calendar event that I needed more information to determine what day this moon would be. Okay, because remember in the Most High calendar we have three lights we follow. We follow the sun, we follow the moon, and we follow Mazaron. And those three lights equals one calendar. Okay, so we're going to look at that rule as well. So you can add it along with your studies, and then you'll know how to determine what is what as you observe the heavens. The second thing we're going to look at is second Enoch, because that's a lot of formulas that's given unto this prophet. So we can understand how to put his calendar on paper and to how to determine when the month begin to end, when the year begin to end, when the day begin to end, and when the week begin to end. Also when the seasons begin to end. And we also know that these lights are given signs unto us as well. For the Father created these lights for you, mankind, Adam, so you can understand how to count time. But we know the day is coming, there will be no counting of time. It's written by the prophets. And it's in the King James Bible. Oh, it's there. Okay? So we're going to look at the updates I had to make with dealing with the lunar impacts. This is something that the Gentile used trying to figure out how to keep their pagan day close to the Most High Holy Day. And that day I'm talking about is Easter. Okay, because I have books here that would prove what I'm saying. When you look at the original Greek language, when you look at that word also in the strong concordance that they have translated into the English word to the English word Passover, you would see that it actually means, to the English word Easter, it actually means Passover, Pesach. So we can see what the heathens have been doing. We are aware that the heathens have been in the Most High sacred books. They have been removing stuff. They have been adding stuff. We can see that because what I love about the Father, those same books that we read can reveal the truth despite what the heathens have done. And you will see it as we walk with the Holy Spirit, with the Ruach. And the Ruach is only given to us from the Ayin, from the fountain. Okay? He is the fountain of the living waters. In order to receive the Ruach, you must receive him first, Yahusha HaMashiach, who is the second Adam, who is the Son of Yah, the Son of God. Mysteries that I speak unto you. Okay? Again, it's also revealed in the Hebrew letters. Psalms 119. Look up the 22 Hebrew letters and you will see the mysteries. All right, let us begin. So let me go back to this picture here. Update. Okay? For those who are watching, as Messiah told us, he told us to watch and pray, and these are one of the things we should be doing because in the living word, I'm talking about the King James 16:11 as well as the other sacred books, the Father said that the fool will not observe time. But those who are his will observe time, who keep records and will align things up, because how are you going to stand when a prophecy is fulfilled if you're not watching and keep a record? Okay. So on the channel, there is a video that talks about sundown between that talks about the going down the sun, which is between the two evenings. Okay. Go on that channel to watch part 1 and part 2 to get the details because I'm only giving the highlights in this video. So what the Father was teaching us that the going down the sun, because we have two biblical holy days or holy festivals that takes place or that starts, okay, or that begin at the going down the sun. And we know that the going down the sun also can mean the sun going down between the two evenings. Okay, so take this time now to look at this picture. Okay, for those who are new, just go on the channel and watch part 1 and part 2 to get the understanding. Okay, but this is the time that takes between the 2 days. And Josephus does talk about this, known as the evening twilight. The evening twilight, in the King James Bible, another word for this is the eventide. The eventide. I was on someone's channel and I have to go back in my records and find it. Forgive me if you ever come across this video. But I love how they answer somebody's question. They had a question about the word Eve, like Eve, E-V-E. And the way to understand, to look at the word evening, just as the heathens celebrate their New Year's, what did they call the day before? New Year's Eve, right? Well, that's just the same thing with the Father calendar. When you have the going down the sun, we will see the word even being used, or even twilight, or even tide. Okay? It is the time before the new day, or even the new year when we get close to spring. Okay? That's just another word to add in your vocabulary and it helps you understand how the Father have this set up. Okay? So as you see in this picture, the sun is coming down between the two evenings, letting us know that a day is ending while a new day is coming in. And the two holy festivals that give us example of that is Pesach and Atonement. Pesach and Atonement, that is the 14th. And then for Atonement, you have it for Ethanim. In the Babylonian tongue, they say Tishri. It is on the 10th day, but we start from going down the sun, going to the going down the sun. Okay, so it makes sense. So one day is leaving out while one day is beginning. So notice here that when the Father commanded us to sacrifice the Passover, which is a lamb, and a lamb can be a sheep or a goat, we read Exodus chapter 12, you will learn that it fell on the day that is beginning. It fell on the day that is beginning. The reason why I'm mentioning this, because as I take you to the calendar, you're going to see what I'm talking about. And another thing you want to add to your list, we need to start timing the going down of the sun. Now, when I Google this information, it said it can take about 2 to 3 minutes, but y'all, when you look at the point when it actually start going down, it does take some time. And I want to say it can be up to 5 minutes, but we're going to have to research that thing out. We're going to have to observe the heavens, throughout the year and take notes. So I'm going to give it up to 5 minutes. Okay. That's some homework that we all can do and participate. All right. So now let us go to the calendar here, because we had a particular moon phase that we need to determine when is the beginning of that day for that moon phase. Because it does get a little tricky. You have those things where you know um, that may begin close to the going down the sun. Okay, and that's when it gets a little tricky. You try to figure out, well, what day would this moon phase be on? Okay, and we're going to look at the seventh month known as Ethanim. Okay, in the year of 2021 to 2022. Now, FYI, the reason why our 7 month is different from the Yahad, the Jewish and other Israelites, for we follow the prophet of Yah. Okay, and one of the prophets that was given the calendar formats, and this is why you see the heathens even use it. Y'all need to really read that King James 611. It's there. Look at the almanac, and you'll see how they got their so-called formulas, but they're not going to tell you where they got it from. Okay, and this is how their pagan, Roman, mystic, heathen days are close to the Father holy days. Remember, we in the fourth beast, we in the Roman Empire, and our brother Edom is ruling, but he has made a covenant with Satan. That's why the dragon is red in Revelation 12. And the other Gentile nation has joined himself unto him. And you can see evidence of that. What is the calendar they are following today? The Roman calendar, which does not have anything to do with Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. But when you study that calendar, it is a fixed calendar. It does not follow the heavens. There's many eras in that calendar. One of the eras to look at is the 1582 era that takes place in Italy. And then America followed right behind it in the 1700s. You will find that out. So nothing they have is correct. The weekly format is wrong. Their months are wrong. Their years are wrong. Everything is wrong. Okay, for those who study. Okay, so we follow the prophets of Yah. We follow the 358 rule, and according to the 358 rule, it was determined for us to add a 13th month, and we saw why, because the Jewish started their first day of the Feast of Tabernacle in the season of summer, where we started our first day of the Feast of Tabernacle in the season of fall. You can see that. Even they started way before when the sun entered into the sixth sign of Mazzaroth. They were off big time. Okay. So there's many signs that will show you that the Father give, because we also talk about police. That's on the channel. I think we also talk about oh yeah, I'm thinking about this sign, the 13th sign to address Cyril, but that's on the channel as well. But to get back on topic, there are certain signs that take place in the heavens to let us know what season we are in. And one of those other signs to look at is police. And when does it show itself? Because when it shows itself at that particular time and it stays up for that particular time, it'll tell you if it's in summer, fall, or winter to spring. Yeah. These are the things that the Father is showing us. Okay, so in the seventh month, our 7th month started in the heathen's year, it was in the 2021 AD. Okay, so those who do not follow a 13th month, okay, remember they don't follow the prophecy, y'all. They follow behind who knows ever. Okay, so when they didn't add a 13th month in the year of 2015, 2016, they are in their 10th month now. If they're being honest with you, all right. And for those who did not add a 13th month in the year of 2020 to 2021, they are in their 8th month. Now you're gonna find a lot of people not gonna be honest with you. I don't know why they don't want to be honest, to be real, but y'all, this is simple math. The moon circuit is shorter, or the moon year is shorter than the sun circuit slash year. Therefore, the moon gonna start early and early each year until the heavens produce a 13th month or a 13th moon. That is real simple fact. Even Enoch tell you all this. It's all in his writings. Read the first, second, and even the third book of Enoch, and you will see it. Okay. Also on this calendar, there's some playlists you can look at. All right. So for us, the 7th month of the Most High calendar started in the heathen month known as October to November in the year of 2021 AD. Okay. And what we want to look at, because in that month, I noticed that the moon had done something unusual. Trying to see why my cursor ain't going down. Ah, I'm back. That's you know how it is with the internet. Okay, so in the 7th month, we had something unusual to happen with the moon. Let me see what's going on. It's still taking a while for my cursor. Here we go, finally. And this is what I wanted to talk about. Now, this is in the 2nd week of the Most High calendar. Now, to understand what I'm talking about, let's go with some information about this full moon here. And it also, I think, happened in the Jewish and the other Israelite calendar. That one thing you'll learn about the full moon when it comes to the Feast of Tabernacle, it falls on the 15th day of the month. It should. But as you read Enoch's writings, you will learn why it did not. Okay. Another sign to confirm what I'm saying, it's going to be listed on the Lunar Epact as we go to it. It's dealing with the 4 blood moons. Look at the dates on how the 4 blood moons fall on. And that's in the year of 2014 to 2015. Okay. So in the 7th month, I had this phase on the 13th day. Okay. And according to, you go to certain sites like timeanddate.com, other sites that looks at the lights in the heaven, that the moon does not become full until on their heathen date known as October the 20th in the year of 2021 AD. And it happens at 5:56 p.m. And this is in Israel daylight savings time. Let's see. No, this is in Israel standard time now. Okay, standard time. All right. So, but when I look at the time when the sun is set, that means the sun is below the horizon now. That time is on October the 20th in the year of 2021 AD. And this occurs in at 6:01 p.m. So it is in Israel daylight savings time. Okay. Excuse me for that error. Okay, I'm back. So let me say this again because I don't know if the video picked it up. When you look at the sunset time, it happens at 10 in the 10th month on the 20th day in the year of 2021 AD on the heathen's calendar. And the sunset, that means it is below the horizon at 6:01 p.m. And this is what I'm talking about. The heathens don't do in the way of Yah. The correct way to see the going down of the sun, you should have a time when it starts and when it ends. Do you see what I'm saying now? You should have a time when it starts and when it ends. Okay? So another thing you need to look at is the moon rise time and the moon set time. Okay. Now, when we're dealing with the full moon, what we learned from Enoch's writing, that As the sun is going down, this is dealing with on a full moon day, the sun is going down in the west and the moon is rising in the east. And the full moon rises at 6:09 p.m. 6:09 p.m. So let us go to the chart. I want you to see the chart that I got from timeanddate.com. Okay, bear with this. It's moving kind of slow. Okay, here we go. So as we're looking at this chart here that I got, one thing I want you to pay attention to. As the sun is going down, the moon becomes a full moon when it's what? Below the horizon. That means that it is not visible for us to see when the moon becomes a full moon because it has not entered through that door yet. Remember what Enoch was telling us? The left, the door. So we cannot see that particular phase because it's not visible for us who dwelled upon the earth. All right, so that's something important. So the moon doesn't start rising where you can begin to see it until 6:09 p.m. on that day. Okay, this is where I'm getting this from. And let me narrow this down. That way you can see this whole chart and you can compare. Okay, very important to know this. So the thing I was asking the Father is that how do I know what day to put this moon phase on? Because number one, it becomes a full moon when it has not entered through the door or the horizon. It has not, came up for us to see. The next thing is that when it does rise, the time of it of rising occurs at 6:09 p.m. and that's after the sun has set. That's after the sun is what below the horizon or went through its door. So I was asking the Father, what is the correct thing to do? Because when you look at the phase of this moon becoming a full moon, remember there's only one day for a full moon. It is the day when she is the brightest of all days. She is full of light. That means 100%. No other day is like that particular day when you observe, the moon for yourself. So she becomes a full moon, that means full of light, at the time of 5:56 p.m. When we look at that, that is before the sun has set deep before the horizon. So if you use the Gentiles' knowledge and information, you would think that this phase will fall on the 13th day. That is not correct now. Through the living word is teaching us that this phase has happened during the time of the going down of the sun, even though we can't see it. Also, this phase is below the horizon. It's not visible. Okay. So according to the going down the sun rule is that as the sun is going down, the moon is becoming a full moon. So when you compare that rule to Peshat, to the sacrifice of the lamb, the shedding of the blood of the lamb, sorry, the shedding of the blood of the lamb, you will notice that as the sun is going down, they are sacrificing the lamb, okay, shedding its blood, and that falls on Eve 14, where the same rule was applied with this moon here. This is why you see me highlighted in orange and this phase in orange of the full moon. And I put the 2 to 5 minute rule. So when you have these lights doing what they're doing, in these what I call the gray areas, this is when you have to search the scriptures out. You have to pray and meditate and ask the Father to give you understanding what is the correct thing to do here. So this is why you see me moving this phase of the moon to the 14th day. Because when we add 5 minutes to 5:56 p.m., we would get what? 6:01. 6:01. So take this time now to pause the screen and just meditate on this. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. But that's why I left both of these phases up so you can see what I did. And then you have to decide for yourself. Go before Yah. But this is why I have the full moon on the 14th day. Now, it still doesn't change the fact that this moon has done something unusual for that month. It's a sign unto us, Israel. These lights and the rest of the Most High creation, such as the heavens and the earth, are moaning and groaning for the restoration of you. Until you are restored back to your proper place, these things will happen out of order. And those who are watching will only see this. Enoch talk about this more in detail. I also updated to the calendar too with some other biblical events because we were just finishing up the Feast of Dedication, where we learned that Moshe also kept the Feast of Dedication known as Hanukkah. Also, Solomon kept the Feast of Dedication as well. He started on the 15th day of the 7th month. As far as the Maccabees, they too kept the Feast of Dedication that started in the 9th month on the 25th day. And let me scroll down to the days of Nehemiah and the high priest Ezra to give you that date of when they started their Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah. Actually, I don't have that up yet. Forgive me, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the date. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I'm back unto y'all. You will find the date of this also in the Apocrypha, but you have to read a side note because there was a incorrect number given, and the side note give you the correct number. And it will refer you back to Ezra, the book of Ezra in the Old Covenant, known as the Old Testament. And you will find that it fell on Adar the third day. Adar the third day. And these are good chapters to go back and read for yourself, which is very important for you to do. Okay? Because y'all, there's some great messages and mysteries that the Father wants you to understand. What is the Feast of Dedication? What is the message is given to you? Because the same thing that took place unto his house, whether it was a tent or a building, is the same thing that's going to take unto you, O bride in 144, and O nation of Israel. Go back and read these books, such as Ezra and Nehemiah and the Apocrypha as well, looking in the books of Esdras. Okay, so it's the third day of the month of Adar. Adar is the 12th month. Okay, very important to look at. So that event will be added to the calendar as well. So you have 4 dates for the Feast of Dedication. Adar the 3rd. Then you have Abib the first day for Moshe. Then you have the 7th month known as Ethanim, the first day of Solomon. And then you have in the days of the Maccabees, the 9th month and 25th day. All right, now let's go to the next one. Okay, so this sheet has been updated. When I realized I made that error, and I do apologize, but I thank y'all for letting me see that error. I am surprised that no one caught the error when I was counting the days of the sun. It can happen because a lot of times y'all copy and paste and try to make sure you update all the numbers. Sometimes it can be a small oversight, and I do apologize on that. But I thank y'all that he allowed me to to catch that area before we went too far in the years to come. Now we're going to start in the year of 2014 to 2015. And forgive my mouse, y'all. It just takes a little while. Okay. And this link is also attached to the calendar that we have that's current today in the year 2020. I'm sorry, in the year of 2021 to 2022. So this link is attached to it. It's under the title 2018 Present Lunar Epact. So I decided just, since I had to update the whole sheet, I just list from the beginning years that I started from. I think I started from the year of not 2019, it was 1999 all the way down. Okay. So looking at the year of 2014, 2015, you will see what error I made. But the reason why I made this error, because again, it was an oversight on my part when I was calculating the days of the sun, and I was using it in a way of a heathen. And what I mean by that is that when we know the Father Day starts in between the heathens' days. Okay, and you will see this as I mean. Let me decrease this size just a little bit so you can see all of this information. Okay, and I increase it once we go a little higher. So we're looking at the year of 2014 to 2015. My habit was I was just putting in the day that came after the equinox, such as in the year of 2014, we have the equinox to fall on March the 20th. So I would put in the beginning of the sun started in March the 21st, and it ended in on the equinox day of the following year, which is 2015 AD of the heathens on March the 21st day. That's how I was doing it. But then I learned through the Father of him correcting me that his days actually fall in between two of their days, and you'll see why, how it's easy to make this error. So it's going to kind of throw your number off by plus or minus 1 to 2. Plus or minus 1 to 2 if you do it in the ways of the heathen. So it's very important that we do it in the way of our Father. Write it out. And that's why I tell my family, you have to write out these numbers to see the bigger picture here. So we look at 2014 to 2015, as you see here, I let you know we had two blood moons. It fell on Aviv the 14th day, and it fell on Ethanim the 15th day. It's something to go back and look for your records. So if you notice here that the year of the sun actually started on March the 21st, the first day of the sun, ended on March the 22nd in the year of 2014 to 2015. Therefore, the last day of the sun would be March the 20th to March the 21st. And this is how you would calculate how many days is there in the sun. So for the year of 2014 to 2015, it made it 365. So by me going back correcting this error, I had to correct all the other numbers that came behind this year and also the numbers prior. So you can go back and review this sheet for yourself. You're not going to go over every line, but you will see what take place, and this makes sense. When I look at the year of 2014 to 2015, I can compare the dates of the moon, right, to the dates of the sun. Notice here, the last day of this moon year fell on March the 20th to March 21st. Okay, so this moon here day ended a day before the sun, which makes sense. Why I see one over here. Okay, makes a whole lot of sense. Now, using the Prophet Enoch's formula, looking at the lunar epact, the lunar epact look at the difference of the days, or the days that's between the sun and the moon. And through that lunar epact, you can project or predict or whatever, or recheck yourself to see if you have the correct day of the moon new year. And this is what the heathens been using to determine when to set their Roman, mystic, pagan, heathen day known as Easter, that has nothing to do with the Bible. Because when you go to the Strong Concordance and you look at the correct transliteration, it is Passover, not no Romanistic heathen pagan day known as Easter. That is a mistranslation. Okay? So we can see what the heathens have been doing. So that makes sense. So looking at Enoch's formulas and even the formula for that's what the lunar epoch is, looking at the difference of days or how many days there is between the sun and the moon to determine when the moon begin this year. That's what it does. So not only taking that formula, but looking at other formulas as well, I was able to calculate to figure out how many banker days are going over from year to year. That's the purpose of the 13th moon, y'all. This is why our Father commanded the heavens to produce a 13th moon, to give the moon a bank of days so she can stay aligned with the sun and Mazzaroth. In other words, the sun and Mazzaroth get her in check, keep her in line with them. This is how it keeps the feasts, such as the Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles, in this proper season. For Passover, a V14 must start in the spring season. The Feast of Tabernacles, known as Sukkot, which is Ethanim, the 15th day, must start in the fall season. That is the rule. And the prophets will confirm it. This is how you know what you're following is correct. Okay? So as we go down, we'll bring to our current, well, we'll look at the year before. So in the year before, which is 2020 to 2021, we have a bank of days of 6 days that we have to carry over. I need to correct myself. It's one more thing I left out. So when I corrected that error, y'all, I had to recorrect the year when you'll see the sun to have 366 days. So in the year 2014 to 2015, that is my first year. Remember the rule in heaven. The Father said that the sun circuit would be 365.25 days. That's in Enoch's writings. And he said that in the fourth year, this is when you will add the 0.25. You don't add it you don't add it early, because if you add it, going along, it would throw off things. Okay? And all you have to do, y'all, count the days. Count the days. Whoever's teaching you to counter, find out what are their equinox days and keep a record. See what they're doing. Because a lot of people are lying about things. They're skipping days. They're not being honest with the people. Unto my soda keepers. Oh yes, I'm watching. Because math don't lie. Okay? Now those who manipulate math can cause errors or lies to come from. But what I'm saying to you, when you do it correctly unto the ways of the Most High Yah, it don't lie. There is 365 quarter days. So as the rule in heaven says that in the fourth year, we are to add that 0.25 in the fourth year. So you take 0.25 times 4, you get one whole day. So in the fourth year, so like I said, 2014 to 2015 in our first year. So in our fourth year, we should have 366 days, which we did in the year of 2017 to 2018. So those who have this form here and have not printed out the update, please print out the update, because you're going to see that my fourth year change or when the sun should have 366 days, because I was not using the correct date when the sun year began and when the sun year ended. I was still doing like in the heathen way. But when I did it in my Father's way, I did it as when the day began and when the day ended, because you're going to learn from past records. Just like when you look at 2016, 2017, my equinox day started on the 20th day of March in the year of 2017. But when I look at the actual timing when the sun entered into that sign of the first sign of Mazzaroth, it fell on the heathen day of March the 19th to March the 20th from sundown to sundown. This is why it's so important to write out in the Father's way. For you know that his days fall in between the heathen day, his years fall in between the heathen's year, as well as his months start in between the heathen's month. Very big difference. So in the year of 2017 and 2018, that is your fourth year of the sun. You should have 366 days. Okay? Take this time now. I'm going to blow this up to pause your screen so you can see this. And we had some good, some other signs that happened that year too. Notice that we had a solar eclipse that fell on the day, same day as the prophet Nat Turner. Also, the channel talks about Nat Turner confessions. It is listed. You can go and read those confessions yourself. Just go to the video description box and click on the link because what he said is also written in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay. Now let's look at our current year. Well, not current year. In the year, let's see here where we at. So in the year prior, we have a bank of 6 days. So this is very important to know how many days you have left after the moon has to take away to keep up with the sun and Mazzaroth. So the moon can start in its proper seasons of what we're keeping Prashat, Passover, and Sukkot tabernacles in the correct season. Remember spring and fall. So the year of 2020 to 2021, the sun is in its third year. So we should only have 365. That's how you can check yourself. And when you do the actual time, it'd be like 365 and a quarter. And as you carry out these calculations, the difference between the moon days and the sun days, because this is a year where we have a 13th month, because the moon is in the seventh fold, and it's in cycle 5 of the 358 rule. I'm sorry, it's in this first fold of the seventh fold, and it's in cycle 5 of the 358 rule. So when you take a difference, this is the lunar epact, the sun days minus the moon days, you have a bank of 19 days left over. Okay, from those two numbers. And as you carry everything out, remember you have the other bank of the 6 days, so you got to carry over. So we'll have a bank of 25 days to carry over in the next year to come. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead to update that. So I'll have a bank of 25 days to carry over. In my next year to come, if I had looked at this correctly. Like I said, I'm doing the math again and recheck. So that is the update for you now. So the update is, I want to say this again so I can be clear. As far as the sun having 366 days, the last year when it had that was in the year of 2017 to 2018. So when I add 4 to that, we should have 366 days in the year of 2021 to 2022. As you see here, I have that highlight in the 4th. Okay, so it has been updated now. I do apologize for the error. Also, don't forget the full blown moons that happened in the year of 2014 and 2015, and you will see they landed on Passover and on Sukkot Tabernacles, right on that first day. Far as the headings, I did update my headings as well. As you see here, when you're dealing with the sun, I put in the sun year. What year is it? It's in its first, second, or third year, or fourth year. So you know when you will have 366 days. So I hope you enjoy this calendar update. I do apologize for the error, but you know what? I'm glad that it happened because it makes us stronger, y'all. And it helps us to see how our Father see things. And it helps us to get out of the ways of the heathens and do it the way He does it. All right, my brothers and sisters, continue to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's truly at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10, and baptize the people in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. For the Lamb set the example of the water baptism and the Holy Spirit baptism, and the apostles continued in both. Shalom.